say thank you for the new subscribers. I know you're very few guys, but thank you for being here to support me. I hope this video can be useful for you again. So we're gonna start our class, which is a code of ethics class based on American best practice in California code of ethics. And this class is going to be about cultural awareness. Let's start first with few vocabulary. I want to say, guys, you can check my other video if you click on the button up there about how to be cultural clarifier or the role of a cultural broker mainly. But let's pass. The cultural clarifier is a person who offers an explanation of a cultural framework. Cultural competency is when an individual or an interpreter is constantly seeking to develop their cultural sensitivity and be able to work efficiently in a different frameworks, right? Ability to recognize different cultural frameworks or communication barriers. So basically, to have a cultural competency could help you to develop your ability to be more efficient in a cross-cultural environment, which is so important nowadays. Cultural responsiveness is how to develop skills and sensitivity in a professional environment in order to identify the individual needs in a different cultural framework. And last but not the least, the cultural sensitivity, guys, is to be aware of assumption, prejudices, biases, beliefs that come from your own culture and other cultures, and use them in your benefit in your work position. Okay, so talking about code of ethics and an interpreter, why the cultural awareness is so important. It's a factor that can affect the efficient communication and the principle of impartiality. So you cannot be a good interpreter if you do not have a cultural knowledge and awareness and practice, though. Why? Because a cultural prejudice, cultural beliefs could be a barrier in medical or in any other kind of interpretation and communication. And in order to be ethical and cultural aware, I will give you 4 small rules. You can read more again, I repeat, on the interpreter role of a cultural broker, how to be more efficient when you do clarify a cultural framework. Rule number 1, to be ethical and culturally respectful and aware, it's you have to respect the other person or the other people in the conversation cultural needs. Number 2, you gotta know that as an interpreter, it's not possible that you know everything about the other person. Why? Because each individual is a unique representation of a cultural framework, and how they perceive and experience their own culture is unique. What this means that the same culture have a different application in an individual life and needs. For some people that are Muslim, they want to have a special place, for example, to pray, because they have to pray certain amount of times during their work day. In other individuals, they don't have that need to do that, all right? So in order to understand and be ethically responsive and culturally aware in the profession of the interpreter, we have to understand and respect the fact that each individual have a specific, unique cultural needs. Number 3, respect and understand the needs of the individual in front of us, the cultural need, uh, and eventual meaning that they can add to the message that they want you to convey in order to be efficient and ethical in cross-cultural environment. And number four, you have to know the different like healthcare system, belief system, the basic, the most important thing, the difference, let's say, between American healthcare system and, let's say, in Russian Federation. In order to be a good interpreter, you have to have a clear idea for how these organizations are structured and how they function. So, interpreter must develop a cultural competency, uh, which is a value of code of ethics and is a principle in order to be efficient and professional and good interpreters. And a cultural competency is to constantly seek education and develop their sensitivity and be culturally responsive while they're working in their interpreter encounter, in medical interpreter, whatever interpreter this mean. You cannot be ethical if you put across to the cultural differences and you ignore it. So guys, this was class number 7 that we talk about cultural awareness and why it's part of code of ethics and why it's so important for you guys as an interpreter to be culturally aware and respectful and responsive toward other cultures and develop a cultural sensitivity. Thank you for being here. That was everything from Ioana Todorova. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care. Bye bye.